Welcome to Jerry's Fish Room.
All right, guys, welcome back to Jerry's Fish Room. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so glad to be back in front of the camera doing this video. I'm sitting here next to my 180-gallon African Cichlid tank. Love doing the I'm back video, or the Africans are back video a couple weeks ago. You guys showed tremendous amount of support for that, so thank you, and a shout out to all of y'all that watched it, for those that you left comments and those that gave me the thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. This video, we're going to continue that. We are going to be talking about the pros to keeping African cichlids. I wanted to just kind of, as I said, get back into this thing with the Africans, what really drew me into the hobby. And so the videos that I'm going to be doing are going to be focused around some of those things. And like I said, the first one I wanted to talk about was kind of what drew me into the hobby. I did this years ago, probably 10-15 years ago. I started to keep fish the first time, and that was what I started with. Wasn't very successful the first couple of years. I had some things going on, just didn't work out. But when I decided to get back into this hobby about 5 or 6 years ago, again, I wanted my Africans, and so that's why we're going to talk about what are the things that I liked, the pros that I found in keeping African cichlids. As you can see, we got our boys over here. I don't know if I can drag them over, but you'll see them in the shot. These are the focus for my African tank. Now this tank has got about 11 fish in it. Probably could be stocked a little bit more, but these guys are pretty big, ranging from about 4 to 5 inches on the small side, all the way up to probably almost 10 inches on the Malawi hawk. So, or excuse me, the Malawi trout. The Malawi hawk I have is back growing out, so hopefully we'll bring him in. But let's get into the pros of the keeping African cichlids. First thing I want to talk about was color. As you can see, the color on these is just absolutely amazing. This is probably the first thing that drew me to these fish. It's just the brilliant colors. I can't tell you the number of times I've had people come over, look at this tank or one of my earlier tanks, and just ask me if these fish were salt water. I mean, that's how robust and how bright these colors really are. So again, one of the pros that I absolutely love about these fish is the color. And there's just so many different colors you can get in the African cichlid world. The second thing that keeps me focused, or really is a pro on keeping these fish, is the variety. As you can see, as they move back and forth, there is just such a huge variety of fish. And we'll talk about the variety as we go. So as you can tell, in this tank, this is that 180-gallon African tank that I got from Glass Cages, and the variety in here is just absolutely amazing. You've got all kinds of different shapes and sizes, and then we spoke about colors. You've got some amazing looking fish. I mean, there's the dolphin, which has got the big hump on its head. Then you have your normal your normal kind of shaped Africans, but then you have your buccochromis, kind of have a different, again, shaped head. And then as you will look in here, and you'll see the Malawi trout, that long elongated body, torpedo-like body. So the variety and the shape of these fish are just absolutely amazing. I love to look for that odd looking shaped fish, because I think they're kind of just unique in seeing those. I know that in here I have the albino compressicep, which that fish is just, again, there he is. He's just amazing, and the light hits his eyes and it looks like he's looking right through you. And then you've got that elongated nose. And again, these varieties, I mean, you can do all kinds of different things with these fish in the sense of having just different varieties, different shapes, different sizes. I mean, there's different type fish in each of the lakes, so there's just a huge opportunity for you to get all kinds of different fish in the African cichlid world, and that's why I love African cichlids. The third reason that I consider it a pro in keeping these fish is size. Size is just, you know, again, the variety is of sizes is different. You got 2 to 3 inch fish all the way up to 9 and 10 inch fish. One of the things I love about the haps, the predator haps, is absolutely their size. They are some big fish. I do love big fish. That's kind of what draws me to this part of the hobby, is the size of these fish. That's why I like my Oscar as well. I know he's a South American, but again, size is a big thing for me as a fish keeper. Now these fish, as you're seeing these are in my grow out 55 tank, and right now they're about 3.5 to 4.5 inches. Some of them will get up to that 8 inch, 9 inch size, and while the rubescents, those orange looking ones or reddish looking ones with the blue face that you see right there, they're going to get to probably 5 or 6 inches. Now unfortunately I didn't shoot the video, but I will when I get a species profile. But I also have shell dwellers, multifasciitis, and they will stay about 2.5 inches in length, and so you can get a variety of size. So you can keep Africans in 20-gallon tanks, 55s, 75s, 90s, 125s, 180s, and all the way up to 300 like Ben's got. You know, so it gives you a great variety of different size and still being able to get into the African side of this hobby, which again, all these fish are absolutely amazing. The fourth item on the list as a pro to keeping African cichlids for me is the activity level. These guys are constantly moving around. You can see right over here, a couple are chasing each other. We'll talk about that part in the con video. But they're constantly moving around back and forth. They're never just kind of stationary, not like the angelfish, you know, or those types of fish. Those are a little bit more peaceful tank. So I just love the activity. I love the swimming around. I love that movement, to see the different colors flashing up and down through the tank. And so you know, their activity level is just absolutely crazy. I love them. You know, and it depends on the fish. Some kind of hang out, but others, like these guys, do a lot of swimming. You'll find your haps and your peacocks, the more space you have in your tank, free from obstacles, the more they'll swim, because they're made actually in their habitat to be open water swimming. The next thing that I absolutely love about African cichlids as a pro is they're interactive. A lot of times, and you'll see other YouTubers, Ben specifically, he'll put his hand up here like this, and a lot of times these guys are not behaving the way I want, but a lot of times they'll consider it feeding time, or they'll come over and they'll just kind of interact with you a bit. And so I love it. They just have a good personality about them. They definitely, if I was to feed these fish, which I'll show you here in a second, you know, you'll see that the craziness that they just come all the time. I feed a lot of times in the center of the tank, and so when I walk up, they will come and greet me and meet me right here at the center of the tank. Yeah, it's a food behavior, but it's still pretty cool. And so again, the personality of these fish is just amazing, and I absolutely love them. And as promised, here is how I feed them. Sorry for the lighting. Did not turn the lights up, and of course I have to move that front light to the back so I can open up that front panel. But you'll see here in a second, I come over and begin to tap on the glass just to get them all gathered together. And I'm feeding a mix of extreme, some Northfin veggies, and some Northfin Krill Pro. There's that Malawi trout just gulping away at it, the Buccochromis noditania, the Polini or Starry Night as well, and then there's that albino Compressicep. And it's just fun just to be able to interact with them. You know, they greet me like this every time, every night, and to watch them just get their fill of food and swim around. And you know, again, the interaction in these fish is absolutely amazing. The last thing I want to talk about that is a pro for me, I've had a little bit of experience with, especially with the yellow labs, is the breeding. I love the way the breeding is on these guys. They are mouth brooders, which means basically the female will lay the eggs. The male will dig out a pit, the female will lay the eggs, the male will come in, fertilize them, and then the female comes back, picks them up, and stores them in her mouth. And she'll keep them there until they become little fry, and then ultimately spit them out. But again, I just love the breeding aspect of it. For a lot of these, not all, you know, most of them are pretty easy to breed. If you can find a way to move them to your local fish store, it's really just a cool thing to do. Again, I love to do the breeding. I've got a breeding group, which I'll talk about later in another video, that I've actually intentionally set up with 1 male and 5 female to try to start that process with a peacock. Like I said, I've had a lot of luck with these guys right here, this little yellow lab. I think at one point I must have had about 35, 45 fry and grew up most of them. And again, it was very easy. And one of the things I just love about the hobby in general too, and when it comes to the fish, is just being able to see the fish go from little eggs to little fry and just kind of grow them up, watch them as their colors change, you know, and you know, just be able to contribute, you know, give to people. I've got a lot of friends that keep African cichlids. I do have a great local fish store that will help take them off my hands. In fact, this breeding group was set up specifically to breed something that will help him. So I'm going to be doing that as well. But again, it's just to watch nature grow through the whole process. Breeding is just one of the other things. All right, and so here is my breeding group of fish, my Africans, and want to have a little fun here. I could tell you what these are, but I want to just kind of throw it out there and get you all to throw it in the comments if you can tell exactly what it is that I'm breeding. There's 5 females, like I said before, and 1 male. I have these guys in a 55-gallon tank. I also have my plecos, my super red plecos in here, and they seem to be doing okay as far as laying eggs in those caves, and then I pull those and move them over to my grow out tanks for the fry to grow out. But let me know what you think, and tell me what kind of fish this is. So guys, that's the pros for having African cichlids. I appreciate you guys coming along with me, and it's just been amazing. Again, getting back in the saddle, getting these videos out, refocusing back on what drives me in this hobby, which is my African cichlids. I hope you find this information useful. If you like what you're getting, if you love the content, you know, absolutely please give me a thumbs up, give it a like, let YouTube know that, hey, there's something good coming on out here. But man, I'd love to hear your pros. Give me what you like about keeping African cichlids if you keep them. Tell me the things that are your favorite things about African cichlids, or even what it was that got you to keep African cichlids. Please leave a comment. I love to interact with you guys, and just let me know. And again, you know, sometimes, a lot of times, us fish keepers, we're kind of isolated. Don't know how your area is, but my area, I know a couple, 2, 3 people. But not a lot of people that keep Africans for sure, and not a lot of people that keep fish. So, you know, you're kind of isolated doing this thing yourself. And so again, I'd love to hear from you. Give me a shout out in the comments. And guys, until next week, man, when we start looking at the cons of keeping African cichlids, you know what's coming next. That's right, guys. Keep loving the fish. And I'm going to love my Africans.